that's a good place to start. And I'll just go to you, Mike. Obviously, Michigan, there has been a little bit of back and forth about the size of this lineup. And there have been times where maybe it didn't look great. But I don't know, Mike. It just looked like everything was working for them tonight.
Well, it was. And honestly, the big lineup, every single game they've deployed it, they've been positive in the plus minus. I think coming into this game, they had played it 27 minutes and they were plus 19. And look, if you watch it, they usually do it to start the game and they do it to start the second half. They're not just going back to it constantly throughout the game. So I think it's a really brilliant move by Dusty May, because how do you get comfortable to start a game? I mean, Auburn started this game off for 6. By the time Mara checked out, they were already plus 7 with that group. I think it was 9-2. And so I just love that ability to they're making you not be able to get your feet wet. And that's powerful. And especially if those teams have to travel to Ann Arbor during Big Ten play, that's big. And so Dusty, I think, recognizes that. But I think just overall for this Michigan team, I think preseason you felt like this Michigan team had a couple potential outcomes, right? An elite defensive and rebounding group, one. They could be elite in transition with Cadeau, with the Yaxle's ability to grab it off the rim and go. And you just felt like they could play with a variety in the half court. And then you felt like, okay, all three of those outcomes as they are good outcomes on their own. But you put them all together, now you're talking about one of the elite teams in America with an elite coach. And that's exactly what you saw on display tonight.
Hey, John, I mean, you talked about it. It feels like Yaxle is sort of the key here, because when they're playing him at the 3. I mean, he was UAB's 5-man basically last year.
Yeah, I'm watching the game. It's kind of scary when they're rotating on all cylinders, kind of how good they look. And then with I think he's shooting over 45% from 3 this year, in the early kind of set of games. I mean, when he is hitting shots like that, he's aggressive. I mean, it's tough. And as you see in college basketball, the bigs are reigning supreme right now. If you got 2 or 3 bigs that are competent, you're going to have a chance to win. And the early returns, we were kind of nervous about it, right? Like, 3 bigs, they don't look good. But, I mean, tonight, the last 2 games, really, they've looked phenomenal. And it'll be exciting to see, if they match up in the championship or whoever they play, it's a final kind of litmus test of if this team is really for real.
Yeah, Goodman, obviously this is a ranked Auburn team. We'll see all it shakes out at the end of the season. But I mean, if I said the words national championship picture with the Michigan Wolverines, are you gonna make one of those patented Goodman faces at me? Are you gonna listen and agree?
Maybe.
National championship picture, Michigan Wolverines.
I'm not there yet. But I'm certainly a lot closer than I was 48 hours ago. Again, the San Diego State one, okay. To be able to beat this Auburn team this way, and in back-to-back games play this way, I think, again, says a lot about the fact that they are figuring it out. And one thing when I talked to Dusty last week was, he said, we're an elite defensive team with these 3 bigs. We don't have to become an elite offensive team with the 3 bigs. We've just got to be better. And they looked pretty much like an elite offensive team tonight. They're not going to shoot it like this every single night. But again, I think Yaxle specifically is trying to figure this thing out. And I think the last couple nights have shown that he's way more comfortable in this offense right now than he was a week or 2 ago.
Yeah, Mike, in terms of, we're talking about an elite team here. We're talking about a team that feels like they're going to be. So when we talk about these Michigans, we talk about these Houstons, these Purdues, like for me, the bar is just so high that I almost do want to poke the holes, right? I do want to pick the nits, so to speak. And I guess if I was going to do that with Michigan, I would start with the point guard play. And I think when you get deep into March and you start talking about championship teams, do you see that as an issue potentially for Michigan? But they didn't have to have it tonight. Like, they were basically just making everything they put up. But do you see that being an issue, or do they have enough there with Cadeau and Kaysen and everything else they've got?
Yeah, I think the way they play offensively, I think coming into the year, you thought, okay, Yaxle, the Danny Wolf blueprint, and it really hasn't been that way. When those three bigs are in together, a lot of things flow through Mara at the 5 because of his passing ability at 7'3". And so I think that allows these guards to come along at a more natural rate. I think Cadeau, I mean, what you want out of Cadeau is just the burst and transition, get up, hit aheads, find guys on the break. You don't need a ton from him in the half court, but they still go to some ball screen actions, and you can still hit Merez, hit Mara, hit Yaxle if they go to that. And then I think Kaysen is just continuing to improve. Gale, I think, is in the right spot for, I don't think he's a high-level starter on a great team, but that's okay because what he is a guy that wants to guard. He rebounds out of his range, and he can give you something offensively when it's needed. So, I mean, I not to disagree with you, Jeff, but Dusty May took freaking Florida Atlantic to a Final Four.
Yeah, he did.
Right?
Somebody has to push back on the bully pulpit on this show, Mike.
No, but I'm
just
just
saying,
over everybody. Look at the pieces that they have. Look what the floor that they have and what they can be defensively, and just I think on top of that, it's just I think as the season goes on. And a lot of people want to trash the 3 big thing, but I just credit Dusty May for sticking with it because it's
really a weapon. I mean, it's really a weapon in college basketball. If you have Yaxle Lindenborg making 40% of his threes,
because they aren't. Look, we can say 3 big lineup, but Yaxle's a wing, and Merez can play the 4, and Mara can pass the ball. So it's not like you're playing 3-5 men out there. So I want to make that caveat. But the last thing I'll say is, look at the makeup of all the Final Four teams we saw in San Antonio last year. What they all have. Minimum of 2 bigs that were worth a damn.
Minimum. Usually 3.